In this eye-opening video, we delve into the disturbing case of Daniel Joy, who brazenly stole 3 guns from a police evidence room and managed to evade being caught for 7 years. The outrageous part: his close ties with Police Chief David Winchester and other officials are shielding him from prosecution thanks to the infamous Good Old Boys Club. Discover the jaw-dropping details of the Hancock County Kangaroo Court's strategy, waiting for years to minimize charges and ensure a 100% Kangaroo Court proceeding, complete with potential fake jurors. Join us as we expose the corruption, double standards, and shocking lack of justice in this blatant example that is everyday procedure in Hancock County. Will Daniel Joy ever face accountability? Or will the Good Old Boys Club system continue its cover-up? Watch to unravel the layers of deceit and manipulation in this egregious case of legal misconduct. This guy stole 3 guns from a police evidence room and took them home, then sold 2 of them, got caught 7 years later. And he has still not gone to court for the theft of these 3 guns. Anyone else would have been immediately arrested and had to post bail. That's if they was lucky enough to even get bail. And they would appear before a judge almost immediately. But because this guy is good friends with the police chief David Winchester, and nearly all police and Hancock County court officials, he is simply not being prosecuted. And get this, it is because Daniel Joy is a member of the Good Old Boys Club. This is not an isolated incident. It is obvious what they are attempting to do, because they have done the same thing many times in the past. Let me explain. The first clue is this: when a member of the club gets caught with a serious crime, you only see a small write-up in local Ellsworth American newspaper, which is run by the courthouse, if you don't know. But get this, they never quite get around to actually charging the member of the club. Second clue is, you can tell that by the small article about the member of the club that is minimizing the crime, and you never seem to hear anything about the crime or court hearing again. What the Hancock County Kangaroo Court is doing right now is waiting 4 or 5 years, so hopefully everybody has forgotten about the incident, and then have a classic kangaroo trial, which Hancock County is famous for, where during the Kangaroo Court proceedings, the charges will be further minimized so no jail time is warranted and only a small fine imposed. This will be followed by another small article in the Ellsworth American newspaper minimizing the crime. They are intentionally waiting for a few years to prosecute this man, and it will be a 100% Kangaroo Court proceeding, with likely a fake juror to guarantee their results. One thing Hancock County Court is famous for is using fake jurors, especially when they are protecting one of their own. If you don't know, Kangaroo Courts, like Hancock County, routinely use a fake juror as jury foreperson. How they do this is simple. When these Kangaroo Courts want to persuade a jury either way, they pick the absolute stupidest jurors possible, and then have a fake juror as jury foreperson. This fake jury foreperson is a master in manipulating the stupidest of jurors to obtain desired results of any trial they want. The use of the fake juror as jury foreperson was confirmed by jail trustees working in the courthouse. The trustees observed the same individual as jury foreperson on multiple trials with different defendants. This same exact pattern of misconduct has been observed multiple times over the years. As we all know, men are supposed to be created equal. There really is 2 classes of people in Maine. You have the elite. These are the people in government. In Maine, they call themselves the Good Old Boys, and the law as written does not apply to them. And then you have the masses or the peasants, which will always be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. So let's dig into this misconduct a little further. This is Daniel A. Joy. He has lived in and worked for the town of Bucksport, Maine, in one capacity or another since at least the 1990s and at one point worked for the police department as a patrolman. Danny Joy's stint as a patrolman ended when one day while on patrol he wound up smashing out a window of his patrol car. Word around town? Was he accidentally locked himself in the back of his patrol car with a 14-year-old girl? He persuaded to have sex. The girl's family found out and was very upset with Danny Boy. Old Danny Boy Joy trying to get a little from a 14-year-old didn't go over well with the girl's parents. Get this, Danny Boy Joy's friends in the Good Old Boys Club, which in actuality is the organized criminal element of Bucksport, Maine, and quickly settled out of court for an undisclosed sum of money. After being shit-canned as a patrol officer, Daniel Joy became Bucksport's part-time animal control officer, and then later dispatcher for the Bucksport Police Department, which, as it turns out, is one of the most corrupt police departments in the entire state. How crooked is Bucksport, Maine? When Bucksport had a paper mill, the town was charging something like $3 million per year in property taxes for 25 acres of land. The mill shut down and left due to this blatant greed. What does Bucksport, Maine government do to make up for the shortfall? You would think make the city more attractive to other businesses. But no. Bucksport, Maine government decided to buy a whole bunch of new police cruisers and hired several more police officers to generate revenue. Today, Bucksport, Maine doesn't really have police. They have a gang of predators posing as police. Their job is not to protect and serve. Their job is to arrest and convict the peasants, and to protect the members of the Good Old Boys Club, which is now nothing but organized crime. Danny Boy Joy's days as animal control officer and police dispatcher ended in November 2020 when Danny Boy was caught stealing 3 rifles from a police evidence room in July 2013 and then later selling 2 of them. This all started in 2013 when a local resident turned in 3 guns to the police department, saying they didn't want the weapons in their home. In 2020, some 7 years later, they asked to have them back. Back in 2013, Danny Boy Joy did give the person a receipt, then took the 3 firearms that were surrendered to the police department evidence room. Danny took them into his custody as an employee of the police department and later took them home and later sold 2 of them. Old Danny Boy obviously never expected the person to return 7 years later and want them back. Suspicion quickly arose when another police department employee couldn't find the guns in the police storage unit or any of the mandatory paperwork showing what had happened to them. So an investigation was started into this matter. The investigation resulted in Daniel Joy was formally charged in October 2020 with 1 count of Class B theft because the items stolen were guns, a conviction on a Class B crime in Maine is punishable by up to 10 years in prison and a fine of $10,000. The problem is it is impossible for Danny Joy to get a fair trial in Hancock County. He is good pals with Police Chief David Winchester, actually nearly all police in the county and Hancock County court officials themselves. Joy was scheduled to appear in court on that charge in January 2021. According to documents filed with the Hancock County Kangaroo Criminal Court in Ellsworth, Maine, since Danny Boy Joy is a member of the Good Old Boys Club, he did not go to any court hearing in January 2021. As a matter of fact, Daniel Joy has not gone to court for any charges as of January 2024. He was never arrested or booked into jail for stealing these 3 guns from a police evidence room and later selling 2 of them. Can anyone say double standards? If you or I stole 3 guns from a police storage unit, would we be arrested? You betcha. You or I would have been immediately arrested at time and likely given absolutely no bail. And if you did get bail, it would be very high. Remember, these double standards according to who you are is not only real, but it's everywhere in the United States. This is an in-your-face example. It goes to prove just how corrupt these people really are. To them, it's just normal everyday procedure. Now, let me tell you how this is going to play out. Either Danny Boy Joy will never go to court, and it will quietly be dropped, or he will go to court 4 or 5 years later, after everyone has forgotten and given a kangaroo trial. With a fake juror if necessary, a slap on the wrist fine, and then a small write-up in the Crooked Ellsworth American newspaper. Just the fact that these people all know each other is reason for a change of venue to a different county, to be fair. But since fair trials do not exist in Hancock County, Maine, you don't have to worry about them wanting to do that. This here, folks, is Hancock County Kangaroo Court in action. Blatant nonfeasance.